remember what we are learning about for the third trimester group? It's a tricky word. Everyone say separating. Separating. Mixtures. Mixtures. That's what we're learning about, but we're learning about a bigger topic, and it's one we've been looking forward to. You're good, Bert. So we're looking forward to because it means we're almost middle schoolers, because only almost middle schoolers can study this subject. Oliva, what is this? We are learning about chemistry. What are we learning about? Chemistry! And we are so excited. Raise your hand if you have any ideas of what chemistry is about. Because we haven't talked about that. Anyone have any ideas going in? What you think chemistry might be? Raji? Okay, that's one idea, using liquids. So chemistry might have something to do with using liquids. Marquise?
Using chemicals?
Using chemicals. Oh, and I like how we, chemicals, chemistry, those are similar sounding words. Victor?
Isn't it when you, study matter?
That is brilliant. That's exactly what it is. So chemistry, and Mildred, help us out here. How do we say chemistry? Everyone say química. Química. So chemistry is the branch of science that deals with the study of matter. Go ahead and tell your people what chemistry is. And thanks for returning to those learning bodies. So, crazy enough, we've actually been doing chemistry, but it's been sort of a secret. When we were studying cellular respiration with the yeast, and we had that reaction where we made carbon dioxide, that was actually chemistry. I know. We were studying the living systems part, now we get to study the chemical part. So why did that yeast react with the sugar in the warm water that way? Gabrielle?
Because it has sugar.
Okay, so the sugar part has something to do, it produces that chemical reaction. But really, in order to understand this, we need to know about this word matter. Everyone say matter. Matter. So this basically means it has mass that occupies space. It's something that exists. And atoms and molecules, we'll learn about later, but we just want to know it has mass and occupies space. So Leo right here, he's an example of matter. He's solid matter. So, and I know Leo is an example of matter because Leo has mass, so he has a weight, and he occupies space. He takes up space. I know this pen is an example of matter because it has mass, has some weight to it, and it occupies space. I know this water is matter. How do I know this water is matter? That's right?
It can be liquid.
Okay, it's a kind of liquid. You can see that up here. And it has mass and occupies space. Anyone think of something else in this room that you think might be matter? Mildred. Okay, how do you know the table is matter? Can you use the frame that we have right here?
I know this is an example of matter because it has mass and it occupies space.
Yeah. Thumbs up if you think you know an example of matter somewhere here or something you have at home. Okay, I'd like you, and if you're a 3-person group, you are all sharing. When I say pair share, it means group share. So raise your hand if you're a 3-person group. So are you going to just share with the person next to you? No, all 3 of you. Please pair share something you know that's an example of matter. Go. And how you know it's matter is that So basically, everything around us is matter. And chemistry is studying all the tiny little building blocks that make everything around us, how they react to each other, and how you can break them down. And we do some really cool stuff with that. So, we are to study matter, we're going to be doing these 3 things. Let's read the first thing we're going to do together. So I need everyone's eyes up here, ready to go. In 3. I think everyone say observations.
Observations.
Materials.
Materials.
Okay, let's read it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Make observations about 3 materials when they are dry.
So that's the first thing we're going to do today. We're going to have 3 mystery substances that we'll be learning about. And we're going to look at them. We'll make observations about them. Then we're going to do the second thing. Let's read it. Ready, set, go.
Make observations about these materials when you mix them with water.
So this mixing idea is something we're really going to be focusing on today. And what are we going to mix them with?
Water.
Water. We're mixing them with water. That's the other substance we're using. And then the third thing, which is, I think, the most exciting part, but this is pretty exciting too. Let's read it. Ready, set, go.
Try to separate these mixtures using filters.
Okay, and there's a reason we're doing all these things. We have a goal, a challenge that's been posted to us, a question we're trying to answer. And this is our question. When I put it up, I would like you to read it to your group and think about how we might try to solve it. We're not really going to share out ideas, but I want you to start thinking about how we might try to figure out the answer to this question. You guys ready? Go.
Yes.
How do you separate mixtures based on the properties of different types of matter?
Okay. Raise your hand if there's any words up here you're not sure about. Okay, we're a pretty confident class, so thumbs up if you feel like you know all these words, even those bolded words there. Okay. Well, we're going to find out because these are our academic vocabulary words. Everyone point to the wall over there. Who can tell me what is new on that wall since the last time you saw it? James.
The pictures and what they are.
Okay, and what do you think those pictures are of?
I think the pictures are of what are in how do you use what's in the question.
Okay, what's in that question? Breaking down that question. That's exactly right, and that's what we're going to be doing right now. So, we are going to be starting with the word property. Everyone say property.
Property.
So, a property, raise your hand if you've heard that word used before. You've heard property. Who can use that word? I see a lot of hands standing up on magic sticks. Desiree, have you heard that word before?
Yes.
How have you heard property?
Belonging to something.
Yeah, that's what I usually think of too. Like, hey, that's my property. Has anyone ever said that before to somebody? They try to grab something. That's mine. That's my property. That's one meaning of this word. But today, as chemists, because that's what we are, chemists today, we're studying chemistry, we're thinking of it as like characteristics or ways to describe it. So this is a substance called magnesium. Everyone say magnesium.
Magnesium.
So it's this really cool substance, and it has some special properties or characteristics. So it can do really cool things like it can burn. If you set it on fire, it'll burn, which is pretty cool. That's a property, it's a characteristic of it. It makes it unique, special. It can also conduct electricity. Like I know in 4th grade you studied currents, right, and how electricity travels. And it could travel through magnesium. And then these are some sort of general characteristics we have. What is the color of magnesium? Go ahead and tell your table. What's the color? I'm loving those complete sentences. What about the texture? That's how it feels. We can't feel this, but how do you think this might feel? Go ahead and tell your table. How do you think it feels? And what about the shape? What is the shape of this? Let's tell your table. So by using properties, we can let someone else know, either with chemistry or something else, how to describe something. So if I wanted to describe magnesium, I could say magnesium is gray in color, it feels rough, and it has a jagged shape. And those are some of the properties of magnesium. Go ahead and try that sentence frame. Say it to your partner.
Magnesium is gray in color, feels rough, and
Okay, and we're going to be using that frame later next week to review some of the properties of those really cool substances we're studying today. So, now we get to going with mixtures. So, I have brought in one of my favorite kinds of mixtures to sort of explain it. And somebody in this class helped me bring in this mixture. This is a mixture I have in the morning. And raise your hand if you also make this mixture sometimes in the morning. I have my bowl of milk. And I have some cereal. Can I put it in here? No? No one has cereal for breakfast? Okay. So, raise your hand if you had a mixture for breakfast this morning. Okay, so a mixture is any time I mix two or more materials that have different properties. of Captain Crunch? Yes? Okay, what's a property of this? So like a color or texture, what do you think? What is a property of Captain Crunch? What do you think? If you look at it, what do you think? Go ahead, tell your table. What's a property of it? What do you think? What's a property of it? Okay, and then back to those learning bodies, please. And then here to just share out, because I don't want to spill it. What are some properties of milk? What are some properties, some characteristics that if someone didn't know what milk is, how could you describe it to them using some adjectives? Max?
The way that I describe it is that it is a liquid.
A liquid, excellent. And that's actually one of those categories of matter that we had up in the beginning. What is another word I could use to describe milk? Axel?
White.
It's white. The color of milk is white. And Victor?
Color.
We lose it? What about we talked about, this is probably a pretty dry substance. That's a good characteristic of it. What do you think about milk? Jaden?
It's very wet.
Yeah, it's very wet. It's very moist. So these are two materials, and they have different properties. Right? Milk is not all different colors and crunchy. Captain Crunch is not liquid. We serve an interesting liquid. They have to have different properties though. So here's a question. If I have water from the sink and I mix with it water from the sink, did I mix things with different properties? No. I used 2 cups of water. They have the same properties. What's a property of water? Go ahead, tell your table. What's a property of water? One. Okay. Did both cups of water have the same properties? Yes. Yeah, let's look. I can put it even back because I know they have the same properties. I put it back. We look. Do these look the same?
Yes.
If I fill them, are they going to feel the same?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what else I have. The shape of them, they both sort of fit the shape of the container they're in. Do they both fit the shape of the container they're in?
Yes.
They have the same properties. So even if I'm putting them together, I'm not actually making a mixture because they don't have different properties. So I want you to think, can you guys think of a mixture you guys might make at home? What's something you like to mix together?
Donuts.
Go ahead, think for just a second. Thumbs up when you have an idea of a mixture you like to make at home. So any 2 things you like to mix together and go ahead and share with your table. What do you like to see what else you can figure out. What about you guys? What? Oh, good. I'm sure like a fruit salad right at the beginning. You know, pancakes is actually a mixture in itself. You mix flour and sugar and butter and all that, right? Excellent. What about you guys? Bagel. What do you put on what do you mix the bagel with? Oh, that's a popular one, yeah. That's good.
Put it donuts with coffee.
Donuts, you mix it together. Do you ever mix it together with the donuts in the coffee? I don't know. I don't know about drinking coffee.
Could actually be a liquid.
Hey, you could make it into what? Try that out. Hey, 3, 2, 1, Tazoma. So when I was talking to Dylan, he said something really interesting. He was talking about pancakes, and we started talking about how pancakes, even though when you look at a pancake, it looks all the same, it's actually a mixture because you have to mix, like Axel I know knows because he's really good at cooking pancakes. He mixes together the flour and the sugar and eggs and other things like that. It's a mixture because you're mixing all these things with different properties. Okay, even in class, people bought scissor mixtures, right? We have scissors, we have pens, we have markers, all that kind of stuff in here. But sometimes we don't want mixtures to stay a mixture, right? Today we're going to be separating them, and sometimes we want to separate mixtures. Go ahead, tell your partner what it means to separate something. And Mildred, how do we say this word in Spanish? Everyone try that. 1, 2, 3.
7.
Thank you, Mulder, for teaching that to us. So, what are some things that you might want to separate? You think about separating something. Axel.
Cookie and mud.
Ooh, yeah. If I had a cookie with some mud on it, I'd want to separate them. I want to try my best to take the mud off. Cookie, divide it into the 2 separate parts. Alexis.
Milk and ice.
Okay, if you had milk and ice, you didn't want the ice in there. Now, even though Alexis brought it, that's a really cool one. Because part of me would think, oh, ice and water, well, they're made of the same stuff. But what's a different property of ice and water that makes that into a mixture? Why is that okay, even though this couldn't be a mixture? Axel. Yeah, the frozen. The hardness is a property of it, and that makes it into a mixture. So today, we're going to be separating some mixtures. Thumbs up if you're ready to start separating some mixtures. Okay. So we are just about to get started. Before we get started, what do we always need to go over?
Lab rules.
So we go over these every time. I trust you guys as a group to read each rule as a group. Nod your heads if I can trust you. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Learning buddies, tell me you're ready to start the lab. Go.
Listen first. Wait for instructions before touching anything. Learning bodies means empty hands. Remember, labs are for focused learning, not playing around. Respect the materials, procedure, and updates. Clean up quickly and quietly at the end of labs.
Okay, so I think we know how to do all those things. So I noticed when we read it, some of us got tripped up with the word procedure. So I want you to repeat after me. Procedure. And remember, that's the process. That's when we read the step.
Do the step.
Exactly. So when you get your trays, which will happen in just a few moments, we'll be sending one person to get a tray from the back. And we're not deciding right now, or I will decide for you. Okay, you're going to get your materials, which you're not going to touch, and you're also going to get a packet. There should be 2 packets on each tray so that you can share with your partner, or if there's a group of 3, then the person by themselves has their own packet to look at, okay? So, when I say go, you're going to send one person to the back. Show me with your fingers how many people you will send. Okay. And then can you read that middle one out loud to your table? Go.
Place trays in the middle of materials.
The only thing I'm allowing you to touch are the packets on the top. You may pass those out, but you are not to touch the cups. You are not to touch anything else. And one thing I want to warn you about the back is follow your eyes on me into the back to see your trays. Now, on your trays, you're going to find these. You're also going to find cups, and they have Post-its that are stuck on, but they're coming off just a little bit. So you want to be careful if you're carrying it, that those Post-its don't fall. If they fall, you do have permission to pick it up and put it back on that cup. Okay? And raise your hand if it fell and you're not sure what cup it belongs on. Okay? Okay, you may go ahead and go. Now you're going to be listening to those groups who are really doing a nice focused job of grabbing their trays. That's my tray. No. And while you're waiting, let's see who's making a good choice right now. I can see Dolly's working on the new science vocabulary word. What a smart decision that she's making right now. Okay, so I see excellent. We're passing out those instructions. Moving quietly. And I think we're ready. We're moving excellent. So we are ready to get started. So, before we get started with the actual lab, we want to learn a little bit about the 3 materials we'll be using, 3 different types of matter. So the first type, and at this point you are allowed, one person, someone who did not carry the tray, can pick up the cup that has these little pieces and it says a G on the outside. So one person pick that up, and we're going to say the name of this mystery substance by looking up here and saying it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Gravel.
Go ahead and pass the cup around. Take a moment, look at it, stuff before. But pass it around, make sure everyone gets a chance to look. And when you're done, you can put it back on that tray. Okay, raise your hand if you've ever seen this stuff before. Raise your hand. Most of you, has anyone else seen this before? Seen this stuff? Go ahead, share with your table where you've seen it before. And then you can just sit like awesome when you're ready. Okay, and I just have a couple share outs. I saw most hands up, so I'm just going to call magic sticks. Adalia, where have you seen this gravel before?
I've seen gravel at the beach.
Raise your hand if you've also seen gravel at the beach. Okay, Alexis, have you seen this before?
I've seen it at a park.
Can you use the word gravel in your answer, please?
I saw gravel at a park.
So raise your hand if you've also seen gravel at the park. Okay, is there anywhere else you've seen it? Kareem, oh, say one.
I've seen gravel in my
Raise your hand if you've seen it in your backyard before, or someone else's backyard. So gravel is a pretty common material, pretty common substance. And it's one of the materials we'll be using. So as we look at our other two materials, I want you to think and sort of compare in your mind how they're the same and how they're different. Okay, the next cup, someone different, pick it up, is going to be the cup with an S on the outside. Go ahead, have someone pick up the cup with an S. Pass it around and see if you can figure out. This is something you've used before without touching. Don't touch it. Share with your table what you think this might be.
I think it's salt.
No tasting, no touching. Pass it around. What do you guys think it is? You think it's salt? What do you think?
This is salt.
How do you know?
It's totally salt.
Oh, you think it's salt?
Yeah. Oh, and that's flour.
I think it's salt.
No, that's sugar. Exactly. No, this is flour.
Okay, Montaloma.
Leper leaders.
Let's try that one more time. Montaloma.
Leper leaders.
Okay, wonderful students. So I heard some different ideas. I heard some salt. I heard some sugar. This is salt. But we're not going to use the name salt today. Because this is not salt. There's actually lots of different kinds of salt, which is something I didn't really think about. I thought, oh, you just put your salt on your food. There's different kinds. This is a specific kind. And it is called sodium chloride. Let's say that on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sodium chloride.
So today, when we're saying sodium chloride, we just mean the kind of salt you put on your food. We call it table salt. Or another name for it is kosher salt. Raise your hand if you like to put salt on your food, on some of it. Okay. So what is the food you like to put sodium chloride on, which is salt? Who wants to share it? What's a food that you like to have lots of sodium chloride? Laura, what's something that you like with sodium chloride?
French fries.
So I like French fries.
I like French fries
With?
with sodium chloride.
Excellent. So it doesn't sound good, but it's just with lots of salt. I like French fries. Raise your hand if you like French fries with sodium chloride. I do too. Let's take one more. Antonio, what kind of food do you like to have a lot of sodium chloride on?
I like to have sodium chloride on curly fries.
On curly fries. Fries are popular. Excellent. Anything that's not a fry that you like sodium chloride on? Jonathan M.
Taco.
Raise your hand if you, okay, use a complete sentence for me. So I
I like sodium chloride
good.
on tacos.
Beautiful. Go ahead, share with your table what you like sodium chloride on. That's why they taste so good. They have that sodium chloride.
Yeah, me too. I like salt.
Yay! Montaloma. Excellent. So those two we're pretty familiar with. This next thing really was sort of a mystery substance to me. Because I hadn't heard of it before I started planning this lab. And some of you might have, but you might not have. It is called diatomaceous earth. That's what I said. Raise your hand if you've heard of diatomaceous earth before. You have? Where have you heard about it, Jonathan? Do you know?
I don't remember.
But you feel like the word's familiar to you? So a word like this, when I look at it, it's almost even hard to say, and especially especially figuring out the meaning. Repeat after me. Dia. Just. Earth. The earth part's pretty easy, right? Repeat after me. Diatomaceous. Repeat after me. Diatomaceous. Say it 5 times fast. Go. So if I'm looking at this, whenever I get a word I don't know, like diatomaceous earth, I was like, I have no idea. I think Adalia's there with me. Like, what is diatomaceous earth? But I do know the word earth. And I know it means the globe. Does anyone know what else it can mean besides the globe? What can earth, I'm talking about earth. Yeah?
It can also mean the ground that we stand on.
The ground, or I think of sort of like the dirt. So I know this has something to do with something that's sort of like dirt, and that sort of fits. Go ahead and pick up the cup that has a D on it and pass that around. Just real quick, take a look. Good, and good sharing. I like how that group is making sure everyone gets a chance. Just take a moment. What are some properties you're noticing about diatomaceous earth?
Well, it's like a flower.
Make sure we're not putting our fingers in, we're not touching it, we're just looking right now. You have 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. Make sure everyone passes real quick. You're going to get lots more time to observe it. Right now, just a taste. 1. And taste, remember, in like a figurative kind of a way, where it like gives you an idea, but not a real in your mouth kind of taste. And okay. So now I gotta break down this big part, diatomaceous. So yeah, it's a fun word to say that. But I noticed this part, diatom, sort of seems like a group. So what I did is I looked up diatom, and what I found out is a diatom. It's a single-celled organism. Okay, everyone point to the diatom in your notes. Find where it says diatomaceous earth in your science notebook. Where all those definitions are in your science notebook. And point to that diatom. You guys all find that diatom? Where it says diatomaceous earth, it's on the 2nd page at the top. I want you to point to the thing that's actually the single-celled organism. It looks like this slide right here. So diatom is a single-celled organism like yeast. Remember we studied yeast? And that was a single-celled organism? So that's what a diatom is. And then I have this part aceous. And that sort of seems to me like a suffix I might have seen in other words. So aceous, believe it, aceous means like or similar to or full of. So diatomaceous just means full of diatoms. Tell your partner what diatomaceous means. So once I break it down like this, and I like to check. So I did find the real definition, and what I got was it's a very fine powder made from the fossils, or those leftover pieces after the diatoms all died, and we got just the fossil part. The fossils of diatoms, which are a hard-shelled, single-celled organism. So it really is a powder that's made of the fossils of little tiny single-celled organisms called diatoms. So even though this looks sort of like dirt, it's made of the remains of a living creature. Yeah, it sounds a little gross, but it's pretty darn cool. So, go ahead and tell your partner what diatomaceous earth actually is. Okay. Did you want to share out picture?
Well, I was about to say, do you know how small diatom really is?
It's very, very small. So this picture, right, this picture is under a microscope. These are a single cell is very, very, very tiny. Like when we went on the field trip, remember we used the microscopes, we looked at plant cells, how tiny those cells actually are. So it's very, very tiny. Yes, Victor?
Also, how did you get it?
You can buy it. We got it from a kit, but you can buy it. They actually use it in things like pools. That's pretty cool. I know, surprisingly enough. So, we've been good chemists, like good chemists. We've done our research. So we can now get started.